Hello and welcome to the Tom Sawyer Show here on the Warrior Sports Network. I'm Grant Wall, joined as always by Winona State head football coach Tom Sawyer. And coach, it really was an offensive shootout Saturday in Sioux Falls. Warriors come out with a 45-40 victory, but a game where both offenses really had a good day on the field.
Yeah, it was a crazy day, with winds gusting up to 35 miles an hour sideways. We throw a ball down the hash and end up on the sideline. And really that happened. So it was just one of those kind of crazy days. But we thought, even last year when we played these guys, it might be one of those kind of days. Didn't expect it as much this year, but was soon. They took the first drive. We had them stop for a third down. They escaped, get a first down, and they'd score. And a few plays later, we're back in the end zone. So I was like, okay, here we go again. But that's just kind of the way the league's going right now. A lot of scoring, a lot of big yards. But at the end of the day, if you got a W at the end of it, you get on a bus and go home, and you're pretty happy.
That's right. A W is all that matters. And you would think that the first thing I'd want to talk about after a game like that is the offense. But I want to talk about the defense first, because Sioux Falls is such a powerful offense. And your defense really did a good job of keeping them off the board and then forcing turnovers. Forced 3 more turnovers this week. That's 7 turnovers in their last 2 games. So the defense really made some stops when they needed them.
Yeah, we played another 90 plays or something. That's like playing a game and a half every week. So, it's a toll. Especially a toll on the defensive line kids, linebackers that are running all over the place. But they were doing it with us too offensively. So, but our defense did play well at big times. You look at the red zone scoring. We kept them out a couple times. We blocked an extra point. We rushed the extra field goal attempt. They missed left into that win. I don't know how that happened. But anyway, still, we caused problems in the red zone. And all we needed to do is get, once we had an 11-point spread, we held on to that for most of the rest of the game. So we felt a little bit more comfortable at that point. Once we got a stop, missed a field goal, we come back and score, go ahead 11. That really helped us.
Only 1 sack for the Warrior defense, but another game where he spent a lot of time in the backfield disrupting plays, didn't always necessarily get to the quarterback, but didn't let him get into the flow of his offense.
Well, it's not going to be an offensive game where you're going to get a sack, so they're running the option. Quarterback was keeping it. He's their leading rusher. Second leading rusher is the running back. They're running the ball. They're not passing it, so you get maybe a couple tackles for loss, but the sacks just aren't going to be there. And at the very end of the game, they brought in another quarterback who is kind of their throwing quarterback guy. And we had 1 sack on him, but we hit him a lot.
Yeah.
If you look at hits and pressures, there'd be a bunch because our pressure heated up in those last couple drives.
And he was, I think, just 6 of 15 throwing the ball. And so, it got to him quickly. We'll move now back to that offensive side of the football. And the big thing out of the game, obviously, Chichi Ojika, 181 yards. He's now gone over 100 yards in 3 of his last 4 contests. A guy who's really coming into his own as a senior.
Yeah, he is. I'm really excited for Chichi. He's a guy that waited in the wings to have a chance to be kind of the main guy, and he's stepped up and he's done that. And we still got to do it by committee, and we did a little bit on Saturday as well. But he had broke one early, a great blocking up front, and took one 65 yards. Didn't take him long to get there. He's a fast kid. He's built for speed, but he's learned to be patient, Grant. A little bit more inside running, and we have to have that from him. And he's starting to settle in a little bit. We still make some mistakes, but overall, for what we're getting out of him and what he's getting out of himself is really, really remarkable.
Well, a game where you did it by committee as well. Chichi had the 181 yards, but as a team, you rushed for over 300 yards. Anthony Resnick got in the act. Jordan Koss scored a couple touchdowns. Paul Preston, even Jack Nelson broke off a 40-plus yard run. So a game where you got some real production out of the stable of running backs.
Yeah, it really did, and we have to do that. Again, we're scoring quickly, but the games are long. When you talk about as many plays as are being run, and Chichi's a kid that he's not an every down back, so we have to have those other guys. That's the first time Resnick's been in the game. He's been hurt with a hamstring here for a while, so he's finally 100% healthy. Jordan Koss did his thing in our inside zone game, or our inside big guy game, and he did a great job there. And Paul's still not 100% healthy, so we used him a little bit, but that's how we're going to do it. We've been doing it all year, and we expect to keep doing it.
The pass game, Jack Nelson threw for over 250 yards. He also threw a touchdown to Tony Mueller, and Tony Mueller has to be just a really, really bright spot in this Warrior offense. Didn't quite know what to get out of a guy who's coming from playing professional baseball back to college football, but he has to be a real pleasant surprise. I think that's 3 straight games with a touchdown.
Yeah, we throw it to him once, he catches a touchdown pass. Maybe we should throw it to him more often. One of those kind of things. But he is, and has really done a nice job trying to learn how to be a good receiver. He is blocking his tail off, and that's the part that nobody sees. if somebody's running the ball and Chi-Chi breaks one and he's down there blocking, and or even a kid like Tamrick Atwood, he runs about 75 yards across the field to block the safety. Chi-Chi runs it back in the end zone. I mean, those guys have to do that part of the game too. And for a guy that's not played since high school football to learn that piece as quickly as he has, that's pretty cool.
Well, let's now shift our focus forward. You're 2-0 in the NSIC South. Wayne State comes in for homecoming on Saturday. Wayne's another, they play some power football. They really get after you, bruising type football. What do you have to do to slow them down this week?
Well, what we have to do is we have to, again, be very good offensively. It's kind of our forte right now, and try to move the sticks a little bit more often. Believe me, I don't have a problem with scoring fast, but it takes a toll on our defense. But I'm not going to try to slow them down. We're still going to do that. But when the time's right, we have to be able to run the ball still consistently when we have to. And we haven't been very good at that yet. So that's something we're continuing to work on. Hopefully we get that situation and work on it again. But, yeah, they're a very good football team. They're disciplined. They play physical. They got some big kids up front. And so, again, we have to be really good at the line of scrimmage and then let our skill kids take over from there.
One of the other things that goes along with homecoming is the Winona State Hall of Fame inductions. And two guys that you coached that I know you're very close with are going in. Jake Gadel, a quarterback, and then Kevin Curtin, the younger brother of Brian Curtin, who we're going to talk to in a few minutes, is going in as well. So it has to be a very proud day, two of your guys going into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I feel like a little kid, or a dad. I don't know which one it is, but you feel kind of both ways. But really excited for those two guys. It's important to their families. And, they're both really humble kids, but I know deep inside they're very proud alumni. They're both kids that when they were playing, they were both leaders by example. They worked very, very hard. Jake Gadel, threw for over 8,000 yards, 9,000 yards, something like that. It was incredible. But he was a great leader on the football team. And when you see the picture of him down in the Hall of Fame, you can just see that look on his face. And he was very, very competitive. Kevin Curtin, of course, is... everybody tries to compare somebody to Kevin Curtin. Well, when he touched a football, everybody sat up in their seat because that kid, anytime he touched it, he could go to the house. And of course, he was a two-time Harlan Hill finalist. So two of the better kids in the country in Division II sports. And I can say that I'm very, very proud I had a chance to coach those kind of kids, and also the families that they have, both from the south side of Chicago and then from little town up in the north, Sioux Falls, Wisconsin. Both of those areas are really proud of those two.
We'll talk to Brian a little bit about his brother in a few minutes, but Jake Gadel, the first quarterback that you ever sent out, your first game as head coach of the Warriors, Jake Gadel was your quarterback.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those deals where, I got pretty lucky in that deal. It's a kid that was there when I first took. I was an assistant coach when he first came in, but, we knew we had something special in him. And it's kind of like what we're talking about now with Jack. You just kind of know that you got something special. And actually, Darren Beankin here with us, too. He's got something special. And those kind of kids are fun to watch. They need to stay healthy and do all those things. But, to see, and I'm from Chippewa Falls, from that area, so I knew him since he was a little kid. And to know the family as well as we do, it's just really fun. But he was a dynamic player, and he could make all the throws. He could run. He was in charge of the entire game, and it was really fun. But the internal competitiveness that kid has, we haven't had too many like that.
All right. Well, we're going to go back one last time, take a look at the Sioux Falls game, the big victory for the Warriors. We're going to show some highlights right after this. A 45-40 Winona State victory over Sioux Falls on Saturday, Coach. Let's take a look at all the highlights from the Warrior win. We're going to start with Winona State on offense. Just a little screen pass to Chi-Chi Ojika to get things going.
Yeah, it's the first play of the game for us, and steps up, a little play action, and we run a screen off it. But you see the guys downfield, the O-line, getting some people on the ground, receivers blocking downfield. Great way to get it going for us.
All right, Chi-Chi Ojika, he was the workhorse for you in this game.
Yeah, well, you can see once he bounces it outside, he's got great speed, takes that ball all the way down to about the 3-yard line. Another, obviously, 181 yards in the day, but here he is trying to find his way. I guess that's Jordan Koss.
Jordan Koss finished it out for him. And the Warrior defense, another swarming effort.
Yeah, that was Kubler coming off the edge, running the play down from behind, just showing some of that team speed.
And watch this, Jack Nelson. You might think he can only throw, but boy, when he gets out in the open, he can make some things happen.
Well, until you just flat out runs out of gas.
Right.
This is a freshman kid that okay, I don't know what to do now, so I'm just going to stop here. And so we picked on him a little bit, but he made some big plays with his feet.
And then we mentioned that throwing. Well, there's Tony Mueller, and he's got reservations for 6.
Yeah, he's just a great competitor. And, it's funny that we cut that off because he ran all the way to he didn't know where to go. He's looking for the dugout.
Warriors with the ball back. That's a nice pass to Alex Jensen. And then defensively, again, not letting that option get anywhere.
Yeah, and option football is assignment football and get a lot of hats to the ball. And you saw there we had 3 kids at the point of attack.
Chichi Ojika, we say this every week, but boy, look at this speed.
Yeah, it's a great cut he made. Then he's off to the race once he gets that stride out and gets going. There's not too many people in the league that can catch him.
No, when he's at full speed, he's not going to get caught. Now again, the Warrior defense stringing this one out, and then a bad decision by the running back leads to even more lost yards.
Well, I thought it was a great decision. Anytime they want to run towards our goal line, that's a good day.
A little play action from Sioux Falls and a leaping interception by Jarrett Wood. A great defensive play, and the Warriors forced 3 turnovers on the day.
Yeah, and remember, he's only a redshirt freshman, so a pretty young kid making some big plays.
Josh Mikas showing what he can do with the football.
Yeah, he's just got tremendous speed and power. He doesn't even know how strong he is. You'll see another highlight later. A couple bounce off him, but here's Jordan Costin, his 2nd touchdown.
That's his 9th touchdown of the year already. And again, you mentioned Josh right here. Just get off of me.
Yeah, like swatting flies, I guess. I don't know, but he's a big, powerful kid, and it's fun to watch him.
All right, again, assignment football you mentioned on that one, not letting the quarterback go anywhere, and you'll see it again on this play.
Yeah, just the relentless pressure. The quarterback's trying to run for it, and that's I think that's Morgan Weaver coming off the edge. I'm not sure, but he had a tremendous day for us. And
even when the ball gets out, try that little screen, and that didn't go anywhere either.
Yeah, again, we started to figure it out a little bit. They had a lot of plays, but we played tough when we had to get into the red zone defense. Our guys did a nice job.
Play action into the wind, and that's just a great throw.
I don't care. That's a 60-yard ball into a 30-mile-an-hour wind. So if his elbow doesn't fall off, we're going to have a pretty good quarterback here.
And again, a little bit of escapability, able to make something out of nothing.
Yeah, since he didn't change the protection to protect himself, he had to run for his life and ended up in the end zone. That's just, he's just got savvy in the pocket and knows how to escape.
Again, Warriors on defense, forcing a fumble.
Yeah, that's something we pride ourselves on. Like you said, we had 3 turnovers on the day.
Red zone defense, again, very good for the Warriors.
Yep, again, pressure. We had good coverage, and the quarterback didn't know what to do with it, so he had to eat it and held him to a field goal attempt.
Anthony Resnick also got a few reps in the backfield, breaks this one for a score.
The safety's free to the plate, and he ran right around him, so you can see what kind of speed we have at the running back position. I'm excited for him as well, and of course, these defensive guys running around. Colin Corcoran, I think, had another big sack for the Warriors.
A great road victory for the Warriors. We'll put that one behind us. When we come back, Winona State wide receiver Josh Mikas will sit down, talk a little bit about what makes this Warrior offense so explosive. Welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show. I'm joined now by wide receiver Josh Mikas. And Josh, it's been quite the year for you as an offensive unit, putting up over 40 points a game, almost 500 yards per game. Incredible numbers for the Warrior offense. What's made you guys work so well so far this year?
I think we're just been really focused in practice. I think the games we've come out and played well. We've had good weeks of practice. Those first 2 weeks, a couple tough losses. I don't think we prepared necessarily as well as we should have. That first week for Bemidji, St. Cloud, that was a good game. That was just a tough fought game in the rain, so that was a difficult one. But since then, I think we've been putting some good weeks of practice together and been just trying to work on all cylinders, getting 11 guys, doing their job on each specific play. So when you come out and you do that, you're able to get things done where you want to.
It's a receiving core that is relatively young. Yourself, Cameron Johnson is just a freshman. Alan May is a sophomore. Tony Mueller's a junior, but he's playing his first year of football. What has allowed you guys to be so successful in the receiving game with guys who really haven't had a whole lot of game reps?
I think it goes back to those reps in practice. Just, working on those things in practice, getting on the same page with the quarterback. We started out the year with John. He went down with an injury, unfortunately. Jack stepped in and done a great job so far. And just us getting on the same page with him, knowing what we need to do, we're able to go out there, do what we need to do and do it fast. I think that's a big part of it.
You mentioned the importance of practice. What have you guys been doing in practice now that Jack has become the starting quarterback? What have you been doing to kind of play some catch-up? You worked so long in the offseason with John. Now that Jack's under center, what have you done in practice to kind of catch up and get familiar with what he's doing?
I think it just comes down to the reps that we're taking together, just actually going out there and doing it, getting the live looks, getting on the same page in practice, live scrimmages, things like that. Jack was down here in the summer a couple of days working 7-on-7 and doing things like that, so he was at a couple of the throwings, so we got to know a little bit about him before he was actually here in camp and stuff like that. So we had been working with John, but we were working with Jack also, and he jumped in and has done a great job. We haven't really lost a step, so to speak, with him coming in. You think a young freshman, he might be kind of lost and out there wide-eyed and things like that, but he's done a great job. So.
Yeah, he's been ready to go. You've made a lot of big plays, and especially you. Let's talk about you for a minute. Leading the team in catches, leading the team in yards, averaging well over 20 yards a catch, leading the team in touchdowns as well. When you get the ball in your hands, regardless of what route you're running, what goes through your mind? Are you trying to score every time you touch the football?
Yeah, absolutely. You want to make a big play for your team and get in that end zone whenever you can. And after I catch that ball, I just like to have a little fun, just try and make a move, make a couple guys miss, get a couple extra yards, get in the end zone if I can. So I'm just out there having fun most of the time. So just having fun, making plays when I can.
Which route is more fun for you to run? A short route where you make a catch and then have to try to make some things happen after you catch it, or do you like the ones where you just head straight down the field and try to get behind the defense?
I would probably say getting behind the defense. It's kind of fun to just get out there and just see if I can beat those guys one-on-one. But I do like, running those short routes too. Last week, that was a lot of fun. Just running some three-step, some little hitches. The corners were playing real soft, so doing that kind of stuff and getting some yards after the catch is a lot of fun too.
Let's look forward now. You're 2-0 in NSIC South play. You've won your last 4 games overall after that 0-2 start that you mentioned. What has been the difference these last 4 weeks that has allowed you to be successful and get a few in the win column?
We've just been, since those first 2 losses, I think Coach has done a great job. He just broke it down and just said we need to focus on 1 week at a time. Kind of the beginning of the season, you're always looking at what this team could do, postseason, things like that. But, starting the season off not the way anybody wanted to. We had to just come out and change some things, and Coach has really had us focus on just 1 week, 1 game at a time, 1-0 after every weekend. So we've been treating these, regular season games like it's the playoffs because we can't afford to slip up at any time. So we've just had that mentality kind of and just been focusing on 1 game, 1 opponent, get that win, put it, to the back burner, and then on to the next one. So.
Well, that next one is Wayne State. They come in here on Saturday. It's going to be homecoming, a great atmosphere, going to be a lot of fun to be a part of. What's the one thing that you have to do to have some success against Wayne State?
I think just do what we need to do and do what we know how to do. Just get 11 guys on defense doing the right thing, 11 guys on offense doing the right thing. Just come out, make big plays when we need to on both sides of the ball, special teams, all that stuff. Fly around and just play the football that we can. So.
Well, it's going to be a great game on Saturday. And when we come back here on the Tom Sawyer Show, we're going to sit down and talk to Winona State defensive coordinator Brian Curtin. Welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show. I'm joined now by Winona State defensive coordinator Brian Curtin. And Coach Curtin, you work specifically with the defensive backs. It's a unit that has a lot of new faces from last year. Pat Lazar is your one returning starter from last year, replacing 2 corners and the other safety next to Pat. But it's a unit that's played pretty well to start the season. What have you seen out of these new guys that you've liked so far?
They've done a nice job. I think we've got a lot of speed in the group. I think it makes up for some of the lack of size we have at some positions. I tell you, Larry Mabai, who missed last week, has been playing lights out football for us. He's been by far one of the best players that we have on our defense right now. He's fast, he's physical, he's got, unlike a lot of the other guys, he has a great size and he's playing the ball very well. Our newer guys are stepping in, doing some things. They play we play press coverage. They do that pretty well. We're forcing the deep balls. Some of the balls that we've we've given up on the fade. We've had guys right there. We're forcing guys to make plays. You know what I mean? We're not playing off, giving people easy hits and things like that. We're forcing the quarterback and receiver, to make a play, usually with a lot of pressure in their face.
Larry was a guy I wanted to ask you about specifically, a guy who's been in your program for a couple years now, but has really taken off this season. What has allowed him to become so successful after not playing a whole lot the last couple of years and then stepping into that role? What's he been able to do well that you've really liked?
He's doing it all well right now. I mean, he really is. And I think, what's different, I think it's just confidence. You get out there and you make some plays. You've kind of been there before. Getting that first play out of the way. I mean, he plays it especially for a corner, a very physical brand of football. Guys catching balls, and he does a great job of separating people from the football. He's got great speed for a guy his size. I mean, you can see, at the Minot game, chasing that guy and stripping the ball off from behind. I mean, he's just making very impactful plays on football games right now.
Is physicality maybe the biggest thing you look for in a defensive back? Winona State defensive backs have always had that reputation of being guys who hit you hard and were very, very physical. Is that one of the biggest things you're looking for outside of obviously the skills to be able to do the job?
The number one thing is to be able to cover and just be able to run. I mean, they got to have good to great speed, good knack for the football, ball skills, and all those kind of things. And really, when you can find those kind of guys that are still physical, now you got a great one. So.
With the corners and other guys in the defensive backfield that are able to play that press coverage that you mentioned, how much does that benefit the defense as a whole, not having to help with those guys and then bringing more guys in to rush the passer?
It directly correlates in the amount of sacks that we have. We can take away the initial look for a quarterback. They want to get rid of the ball fast in third downs. They know we're coming with pressure. We can make them hold that football just that little bit, make them uncomfortable, and then the pressure hits home. That's probably the biggest thing, is be able to take away the short, quick hits and make people, make a quarterback have to either force a ball into a tight window or take a hit.
It seems like every week you play such an explosive offense here in this conference. How hard is it for you to game plan and get your guys ready for an offense each week that not only is explosive, but seems to be doing different types of things well?
It's been a challenge this year. I think we've seen some very good offenses. The biggest challenge for us is how fast everybody goes, and sometimes maybe how fast our offense scores. We're playing a lot of plays right now. They're going out there and scoring, throwing up to Josh and scoring in 2 plays. But it's the tempo, and really we work all week on, one, to be conditioned enough to play that many snaps and get them that fast, and two, the communication between the guys on the field. Because we make a lot of checks and calls out on the field, and it's got to happen fast. And really, we spend a lot of time with the communication. As a defensive staff, we spend a lot of time trying to get our package right and limit it so that communication becomes easier on the field and still be able to fit all the things that they're doing as an offense.
Let's shift gears now. We've mentioned several times already today that this is homecoming. Obviously, the things that go along with that, one of them is the Hall of Fame induction. And I know that's a very, very special event for you this year. Your brother is going into the Winona State Hall of Fame. What was it like to be able to call him this summer and tell him that he was going in and was going to be a Hall of Famer at Winona State?
It was nice. I mean, it was a good thing to do, but he's pretty humble. So it wasn't, it's like, you could tell he appreciated it, but he was ready to change the subject and move on to other things, to be honest with you. I mean, he's not one to sit and talk about himself and those kind of things. So it was very appreciative. He's excited, but at the same time, it was like, how's everything else going? So, I mean, it was pretty, as far as that goes, it was a short conversation, I think, because, talking about himself makes him feel uncomfortable.
He was a guy, kind of a jack of all trades, running the football, catching the ball out of the backfield, and in the return game. You were able to coach him. What was the coolest thing for you about being able to be on the sideline and being able to be a part of coaching your brother in college football?
It was just fun to be able to spend time with him. I'm quite a bit older than he is, and I went away to college when he was in 8th grade, so we got to spend a lot of time together, and I think that was probably the neatest thing, and just to watch him be successful. And you kind of wonder, you see guys do things when they're little in Pop Warner, and they do those same things in high school, and you kind of wonder, can they do it at the next level? And we found out pretty quick at Central Missouri that it was going to be more of the same.
Yeah. Yep. Another guy going into the Hall of Fame this weekend is Jake Gadel, a quarterback who you got to coach as well. And Jake still holds several of the passing records here at Winona State. You got to see him up close and personally in practice and in games. What sticks in your mind? What do you remember the most about Jake Gadel?
I think for a lot of people that have been around Winona State football for a while, he's pretty similar to like Brian Roble. Maybe not quite as fast, but athletic, could throw it around, could make plays with his feet when things broke down. You know, I know him and Chad Fitzsimmons, you know, hooked up for tons and tons of long pass plays down the sideline. But I think what stuck out most is that he could make, you know, one of those guys that could probably make something out of nothing by running around, creating more time, and then making that hit downfield, which we're starting to see with Jack too.
Mm-hmm. Well, it'll be a great weekend here at Winona State. Homecoming, Hall of Fame induction on Saturday, football game 2:30 on Saturday. It'll be a great atmosphere as the Warriors welcome back some of their best players and get to induct two of them into the Hall of Fame. For everyone here at the Tom Sawyer Show, I'm Grant Wall. Thanks very much for watching.